Peace. We're going to do another random message. Just going to be pulling cards. Of course, we're going to start with zodiacs here. All right. The zodiacs are significant. Who is this reading for? First one out is Sagittarius. And then we have Capricorn. Leo. Taurus. Libra. Let's get one more. And Aries. This reading will be influenced by Leo. All right, so we have Taurus, Capricorn, Leo, Sag, Aries, Libra. What y'all got going on? What do the collective got going on today? What's in the energy? All right, so it's so interesting because this is the card that ruled the other reading that I did. So we have Leo 8. That is the 5th house and the 8th house. That's Leo and Scorpio. So the Sun and Pluto or Mars. All right, so 5th house can be symbolic to romantic gestures, children, the solar plexus, consciousness, the masculine energy as well, power, vitality, ruling, okay, ruling, and physical energy and stamina. So this is giving like something is powering up. And then we have 8 energy, all right, which is Pluto energy. So something is being generated here. Energy that is being generated. This Pluto is about regeneration, resurrection, reviving something coming alive, all right? But Pluto can also be symbolic to psychological blocks that prevent evolutionary growth. So mental blocks that can prevent you from ascending, from growing, from evolving, right? And with Leo, the Sun, this may be highlighted here in you all's energy. Something that is preventing you from growing, from rebooting, from resurrecting, coming back from the dead. I'm getting as well, coming back from the dead. So that can be like, that could be anything, all right? But I'm just gonna put a scenario out there. Let's just say that you went through a time where you may have, I don't wanna really say lost yourself, but let's just say that you went through a divorce, right? Because that's been heavy in the collective. Let's say that you went through a divorce, or you were in a long-term relationship and you all separated, right? During that separation time, you may have lost yourself or wanted to re-identify who you are, what you wanted out of life. Because when you're in a long-term commitment with someone, things become normalized and things happen routinely, right? So once that routine is broken, it prompts an uncomfortable change, right? To some people, it is freeing. To other people, it can be burdensome. But even if it frees you, you still have to create another routine without this person, all right? Because you're used to having them around, whether physically in the home or not. You know, even just talking to someone, you don't, like, let's say that you were the initiator of a separation of some sort, and you were unhappy or whatever the case may be, but you decided to separate from your spouse, and you realize, like, wow, I'm finally free from this, I'm good, blah 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 blah. But as time goes on, you know, our body and our psyche, once it is in a routine, it's hard to break away from that routine, even if you feel freed from someone or something. Okay, so your psyche, once you experience like the relief and the freedom and you're happy and things like that, as time goes on, eventually your psyche is going to return back to that energy or that time space where that you shared with someone, right? Even if you don't miss them, even if you don't want to be with them anymore, even if you resent them, even if you do not like them, even if, like, if there's a major disconnect, at the end of the day, when it comes to the psyche, okay, you have programmed it to be around this person. You have programmed it to coexist with this person, okay? And it became a routine. So breaking away from that is not easy, no matter whether you feel freed or not. This is why I always say, whether short term or long term, whenever you separate from someone, like if it's not like a fling or like a little, a little, you know, sneaky link type of energy, if you are actually committed to someone and you devoted your time to them and you spent a lot of time with them, especially if you're around each other every single day, I always say take the necessary time to separate, to heal from that, to assess it, to process it, and to release it, because if not, you're just going to carry whatever that is into your next relationship, okay? In some way, shape, form, or capacity. I'm not going to delve into what all that can be. However, if you don't take ample amount of time to be to yourself, to reset, you're just going to keep carrying other people's energy into your new reality, which is oftentimes why a lot of relationships after long-term relationships fail, because some people immediately start dating after they break up with someone or after they get a divorce. They immediately go out and seek attention, when really that should be the time for you to pour into yourself and rediscover who you are, re-identify who you are, reboot, okay? Because when breakups happen, whether you realize it or not, it puts a lot of stress on your body, and on your emotional body, your spiritual body, because you're experiencing not just a physical separation, but an energetic separation as well. Your body goes through and grows through different changes during and after a separation. Again, even if there's just even if it's just a fling, or like a one night thing, or a sneaky link type of thing, it's still you exchanging energy with someone. Just having a conversation with someone is exchanging energy, okay? Which is why those are often easier to separate from. But again, if you have programmed yourself to talk to someone and be around them every single day, of course, that is going to take a lot more energy to separate from. Okay. And again, when you're carrying baggage from relationship to relationship to relationship, a lot of people don't understand that they're going through an identity crisis, or they are depressed, they are sad, or whatever lower experience that can be, right? You are experiencing that because you're carrying energy from person to person to person to person, from relationship to relationship to relationship. And you can't understand why. Like, I've talked to so many people that have said, you know, this is specifically after a breakup or after a divorce, okay? I have spoken to people and they're just like, yo, like, I don't understand, for one, why I feel this pull towards this person, even though I don't like them, and I'm like, yo, it's energy. You have to give yourself time. Why am I considering this person even though I'm with someone else? Because you haven't broken the tie. You haven't given yourself enough time to process and reprogram your psyche, you know? And there are just so many different questions prompted, okay? And I'm just like, yo, because a lot of people don't realize, yo, if you are the type of person that takes a lot of time out or breaks during or after a separation or whatever the case may be, you will understand just how deep it goes, okay? For myself personally, I went through a breakup and it took me 8 months just to allow someone back into my space again before I felt comfortable enough to allow someone in my space, right? 8 months. And even after that 8-month period of allowing someone into my space again, okay, I felt like I still couldn't show up and perform at my best because I was still trying to process and grieve the relationship. And this is after 8 months, okay? Another time I went a year and 6 months in between a separation, or I had released someone out of my energy, and it took me a year and 6 months to even allow someone back into my space, right? But during that year and 6 months, even after, again, like letting this person into my energy, I still felt off after a year and 6 months. Okay. Now, I am a deep lover. I connect with people on a different level, in a different dimension, on different timelines. Once I connect with you, especially if we exchange energy, right? Sexually. So for me, after that a year and 6 months and allowing someone into my space, I realized that emotionally I wasn't ready, and I was able to accept that, but also I realized that I needed time to wander, to explore, to take adventures, right? Instead of trying to commit to someone again. And I accepted that. And once I accepted that, everything in my life changed, okay? Now, I going through that process, I realized that psychologically, not only was I still tied to that relationship, but there was a part of me that carried a baggage into that relationship from the previous relationship. And I just kept going backward and backward and backward. And then I realized, okay, not only did I carry baggage into these relationships, not just from romantic partners, but familial and platonic baggage as well, is what I carried into these relationship dynamics, right? So after that, I decided that, you know what, I'm just going to date around, because I never really did that before. I never had that experience of, of dating this person, dating that person, weighing out my options, seeing what this is like, and blah, 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 because I'm very sensitive. So when in the past, when I tried to juggle multiple people, it just was overwhelming, and eventually it started to annoy me, okay? And I'm the type of person that if I don't feel like talking to you, I am like that person that will not text back, blah, blah, whatever, okay? But I realized that in this now space, so this is when I was a little bit younger, but that in this now experience, in this now space, I'm realizing, well, I'm not going to say I'm realizing, but I'm actively doing things different when it comes to dating, because for one, I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste anyone else's time either. But also I realize that when people come into my energy, it's for a specific reason. It's for me to learn something in some way, shape, form, or capacity. It's to help to awaken me, okay, to resurrect me, to reboot me, to restructure me. And the only way that can happen is if something triggers you, if something wakes you up, if something nudges you, okay? Or it sometimes forces you, okay? So, with my very last experience, I realized that, okay, I still have connections to this. I still have connections to this. This is something that I'm going to work on. And I completely detached because I wasn't able to fully pour into the situation. However, there were other external influences that contributed to my walking away. However, the most important thing to me was recognizing that this person awakened something in me and helped and assist me to realize where there were certain blockages that were still in my psyche, right? Just to put that out there, right? So and these are hidden aspects, okay? 8 energy, Scorpio, hidden aspects, okay? That is stored within your psyche, and it doesn't awaken, or you don't come into realization unless it is triggered, unless it is extracted out. And not everyone is able or capable of extracting things from out of you, okay? Different people bring out different things within you. That is a fact, okay? That is a proven fact. Not just me researching, but experiencing and studying these things and analyzing these things, okay? So let's pull a card. Let's pull an oracle. Let's see what this is about. Now, I'm not sure if that story resonates, but it definitely exemplifies what this card to me means, okay? Especially when it comes to psychological blockages that prevent you from evolving, from growing, from maturing, from expanding, from being in healthier relationship dynamics, okay? Whether familial, platonic, professional, or romantic. All right, so we have this card here that came out. This is my first time pulling this card, but we have 31 energy. 31, 4, that's Cancer, 4th house, okay? The 4th house, Cancer, the moon. All right, so with the moon, that deals with the unconscious, okay? So this is giving like something that may have been lying dormant within you that you are completely unconscious. So there's a difference between being conscious, something lying in your subconscious, and something that's unconscious. Unconscious is the feminine aspect, okay? Something that it doesn't exist yet, but can come into being, right? Can be characterized, can be personified, right? That's like how manifestation works. Like, that's just like, okay, well, I want a green leaf, right? Now, the green leaf is not physically in front of you it's not in front of you yet. However, what you can do with your manifestation power, I'm not going to delve too deep into how to manifest, but it's unconscious. It doesn't exist, right? Okay. And in the physical 3D reality, it exists somewhere, but it's not in this particular reality, right? And once you start to bring it forth through your subconscious, you start to navigate closer and closer towards it, and then eventually it presents itself consciously. So unconsciousness, the moon here, we have something that it exists on a 5D level, 6D, 7D and up, okay? And you're having to use your psychological power, okay, to manifest and bring it down to a more dense level, the physical 3D level. All right. So I'm not sure what that is or what all that entails, but there is some sort of psychological block that may be preventing you from bringing something down from the 5D and up into like it's giving like there's a block, like a 4D block, right? So that is something within your mental, okay, a mindset or something that is preventing it from transitioning from the 4D to the 3D, because it's giving that it has already dropped down a level, all right, because it's coming out in the energy, right? So it's already dropped down a level, but there is something that may be prohibiting or restricting you from being able to actually access it and have it within your 3D reality. Okay, and this is something that is unconscious that you may not even be aware of, okay? This has something to do with how you emotionally feel about a certain situation or circumstance that is tied to whatever this is, okay? So there is something that you're having to address within your psyche, okay, that is tied to an emotion linked to a blockage that is preventing you from bringing something fully into your 3D reality. This can be something like pertaining to it. Obviously it's a lower vibrational energy, so something that may be revolving around hate, something that may be revolved around resentment, anger, frustration, annoyance, anger, grief, paranoia, any of those like lower energies, because we have a lot of red and orange here, all right? So there is something blocking you emotionally that you're having to address. Now, this may be tied to a domestic situation. So this is something that may stem from family in some way, shape, or form, specifically a mother. All right? Because the Cancer is the moon energy. Cancer, the fourth house, the moon. All right, that's the feminine aspects, the hidden aspects, okay? So there is something tied to either a mother figure or a wife, okay? Because I was speaking on breakups and divorces, and that's been heavy in the energy. So either there is a fragment of who you are that has been displaced due to influences from either a mother figure or a wife. In your case, if you've gone through a divorce or some sort of separation, because that's what I'm picking up on, this is an ex-wife. Okay? So something going on in the 4D. Something is happening within the 4D that is like, I'm seeing spiritual warfare as well. So you may be going up against your wife, your ex-wife at this point in the spirit, or you may be going up against a mother figure in the spirit, okay? This is a 4D war. This isn't the 5D, this is the 4D, okay? Because in some way, shape, or form, like I said, you've brought down whatever exists in those higher realms, on those higher timelines, 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, 9D, and up. You have already brought that down, and it's finally about to transition into physical, like a actual physical, tangible thing, right? And what people don't know is, it's I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's easier to connect with your sources or whomever it is that you believe in, okay, to bring things into existence. But the 4D, because that's when the energy starts to become a lot more dense. So it's a little harder to transition that energy from the 4D into the 3D, because that's when it actually materializes. That's when it actually crystallizes, right? So what happens when you put a rock under pressure and create a diamond? It takes a lot of pressure. It takes a lot of heat. Okay, so we have the red, orange, and yellows. Okay, that's fire. It takes a lot of heat. You have to undergo a lot of pressure, especially if this is something big. So let's just say that you are trying to manifest a car, right? Let's say you're trying to manifest a car. Not only is that a physical, tangible thing that is dense, if you actually look at the physicality of a car, itself is dense. Okay, it's easier to manifest money because money is not a it I'm not gonna say it's fake because it's very much real. We have to utilize it, but in a spiritual sense, it's fake. Okay, so it's easier to manifest money than it is to manifest something like a car, or if you want a house and you're trying to manifest a house, because it's dense. Okay, paper money, that's some light shit, you know what I'm saying? But if you are trying to manifest a person, okay, that's even more conflicting because of how dense we are once our spirit enter these vessels and avatars. Okay, now the thing about that is, like I said, there is some sort of tie between a mother figure and a wife here, but it's definitely something domestic. There's a domestic situation here that comes from the past, because the moon energy can be symbolic to the past. Okay, going backwards. So yeah, this is definitely an ex-wife or some sort of mother figure or a feminine energy that you have left in your past. Okay, and this feminine energy may be trying to prevent you from moving forward. Okay, or trying to block you from accessing this tangible thing for whatever reason. All right. If it's an ex-wife, I understand, trying to block things, like, it's your ex-wife. But for a mother, it's something way deeper. Okay. That may be something generational. Okay. But I'm saying her because this is definitely a feminine, like, mother, okay? But for her, it's deeper. It's embedded in the DNA. It runs through the bloodline. It's something that's generational. But whatever emotion or energy within this mother figure, it's very, very strong. If it is blocking you in some way, shape, or form from manifesting. It's her energy, and it has to be a dense energy. So it has to be a lower vibrational energy. So whether it's hate, lust, or resentment, anger, hate, jealousy, envy, it's a very dense energy. And if you are someone who are vibrating at a higher frequency, okay, you can easily attract things. But when someone's energy is around you, or they're trying to penetrate you or create some type of war, that energy is very dense. All right, it's very dense. Now, you can definitely break through that energy. I'm not going to explain to you how, but you can definitely break through that energy. Now, you're going to have to sit with your spirit guides to figure out what all that is. But once you come to realize what you have to do in order to do that, you're going to have to, it's going to be a hard decision. All right. So this 31 card is about the celestials. Okay. So basically this is about, well, this card to me, it's picking up on, like, the celestials are, they don't operate, or it doesn't operate like human emotions. Okay, because this is definitely tied to, like, emotions and feelings and things like that. Okay, it does not experience life as we do when it comes down to, like, emotions and things like that. And to them, emotions and feelings and things, those are like petty things. Those are like, we don't worry about that. That's not how we exist. That's not how we operate. That's not how we navigate, right? So we have Ganesha here. However you pronounce it. I noticed that some people be trying to come in and correct people whenever they mispronounce, like Orishas and deities and things like that. But what a lot of people don't understand is, English is not a real language. So first and foremost, there's different dialects. There's different There are different ways of speaking, different languages, and a lot of people do not speak with the natural or native tongue. So before you correct someone, if you're not a native of whatever or what all these things are, like a true native, because if you are a true native, we wouldn't even be able to understand or understand, understand what you're saying. But neither here nor there. But we have Ganesha here. That is a deity who protects, that it has heavy protection, right? At least that's how Ganesha is personified. But Ganesha has the body of like a human, a mortal, but the head of an elephant. Now, some people say Ganesha, but it's Ganesh. It could be Ganesh. But Ganesh is called upon when it comes to protecting yourself from like small obstacles or being able to overcome small obstacles. However, Ganesh is very, very powerful, very powerful energy, because Ganesh understands that a lot of the emotions and experience and feelings that we experience, okay, a lot of the emotions and feelings that we experience are false. And once you realize that your problems are never as big as you think that they are, okay, once you remove the emotion from it, you realize that it's just something small, which in turn, your problem or your issue or your obstacle that was so big to you becomes a small speck. You see what I'm saying? But also, a lot of times our problems stem from feeling like we are way more important than we are. All right? A lot of times we as people, we assume so many different things, right? We assume so many different things that connects to us feeling or assuming and thinking that we are more important than we are. Okay, this can resonate with your enemies, okay, hidden enemies. So let's just say that you're working towards something, you're building towards something, you're minding your business, X, Y, and Z, and you have some hidden enemies. And matter of fact, they don't even have to be hidden, but you have enemies, because this is like a 5D, 4D, 3D warfare type of thing, right? More so 4D. But let's just say that your enemies may feel very important to you. They may feel that they have some sort of power in your life, or that they take up some sort of space-time within your life, and you're not even worried about them. You don't think of them. You don't consider them. You have already moved forward. You are building towards a specific life. You're just focused on your future, looking forward and not back, because the moon is about looking back into the past. The sun, Leo energy, is about looking into the future, looking forward, highlighting the future, right? So again, for someone that has assumed the role of your enemy, of course, this is paranoia. So this is the shadow aspects of Leo, the lower aspects of Leo, paranoia. So your enemies will often always feel or be in a state of, or in the spirit of paranoia, because they feel like, okay, well, I have assumed the role of your enemy, so how could you not think of me? How can you not consider me? How can you not be trying to work against me? How can you not be trying to construct a plan to get at me or to get your revenge, or whatever the case may be? Meanwhile, on the opposing end, because the moon is about mirrored energy or like opposing action, and then we have the moon in Leo, so that is a complete contradiction in itself. So to your enemies, they may seem so important. Meanwhile, to you as an individual, they're not even on your radar. You don't check for them. You don't worry about them. You're minding your business, doing your thing. So that can be a situation as well, right? Where someone may view you as a threat. Someone may view you as someone who is a big obstacle, but it's because they have inserted their importance or their assumed or perceived importance into your life, and has made a situation or has made something appear way bigger than what it is. That's how I'm getting it. And in that sense, okay, because some people who feel like they have to have self-importance in someone else's life, okay, they often make an issue bigger than what it is, or they often try to blow things up bigger than what it needs to be so that they can be recognized for being important, when that's really not even the case, okay? So in that sense, as an individual, okay, who works with Ganesh, okay, or Ganesha, however you want to say it, okay, if you work with that entity or that deity helps you or assists you with realizing that don't focus on what's happening over there, because that's just a chaotic environment. So chaos, okay, that is stimulated from the feminine aspects as well. Chaos, energy. Okay, so that's just chaos over there. That's just an influx and an explosion of emotions over there that wants to be recognized, that wants attention, because Leo is about recognition and attention. So that chaotic energy, that emotional bubble over there, it just wants attention, just wants to be recognized, okay, wants to feel important in your life. However, that's something that's small. That's something that's just over there. That's something you've already walked away from. That's already something that you've grown and matured from. That's a small obstacle, okay? But for the hidden enemy or the perceived enemy, okay, they look at you as, okay, well, they gotta be thinking about me. They gotta be structuring some sort of plan against me. They gotta be, if this is an ex-wife, they gotta be dating somebody. They gotta be, with somebody else, giving someone else the attention. They wanted to separate and agree to a divorce because of this. With a mother figure or any feminine aspects, oh, well, they aren't in my life anymore because they gotta be working against me. They gotta be structuring some sort of plan. That paranoid energy, right? And again, that's psychological program. Someone who has taken energy that didn't even exist, okay, and gave it a personality, gave it a character, okay, and that character and personality has assumed the role of chaos, of an emotional bubble that hasn't really been dissected, analyzed, and processed. Why? Because someone is struggling with their own past. Someone is struggling with analyzing their own past, processing their own trauma, again, carrying baggage from this place to that place, relationship to relationship, person to person, all of this energy, all of this chaos energy, and they haven't processed that as well. So now it's like, okay, because I haven't processed my own things, my own life, my own emotions, okay, in some way, shape, or form, you have to be my enemy, because I see that you are moving forward. I see that you are doing what you need to do. You're minding your business. You're finding peace. You're healing. So at this point now, I have to attack you, or I have to project onto you, or I have to somehow feel important enough to insert myself into your life, because I'm not getting attention where I am right now. I am not being recognized for where I am right now. So let me come into your energy. Let me carry this chaotic bubble. Let me carry all of these emotions into your world and drop it off at your doorstep, because I don't want to process my own things. I don't want to deal with my own emotions because I don't know how to, right? That's the energy that I'm getting. That's the energy I'm picking up on and I'm tapping into is that, you know, someone has created some sort of chaos, some sort of energy, or even a situation that has basically bled into the 4D. Okay, so again, you know, whoever this feminine energy is, whether it is a mother or a wife, okay, in some way, shape, form, or capacity, they have not addressed the things that are happening within them, whether it is generational or whether it stemmed from a long-term relationship, whatever or what all it is, they have not done the work. They have not done the internal work. Okay, and they have a lot of unconscious energy that they continue to develop. Okay, because this, again, whatever this emotion is or whatever this feeling is or whatever it is that they're dealing with, this started off very, very small, but the more as time went on, okay, that small bubble just kept growing and growing and growing, bigger and bigger and bigger. So the energy that they were feeling, suppressing, that they may not have addressed, just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It became more inflated. All right, it became more inflated as time went on. So being that it inflated itself and became much bigger than what it needed to be, okay, someone was trying to suppress the energy and it started to bleed out. So it cannot be hidden anymore. And that's what it's giving. Something that was hidden, something that was lying dormant, something that was unconscious, it cannot be suppressed anymore because it has grown so big that it started to bleed out. Okay, and it's starting to be placed in the spotlight because Leo energy is about being in the spotlight. Okay, so whatever that energetic bubble is or whatever that chaotic energy is, it cannot be hidden anymore. So if someone feels some sort of hate towards you, resentment towards you, jealousy, envy, if they've competed with you, compared you to other things, or has given you a role to be an enemy, okay, or has placed you in the middle of a war that you did not start or did not want to participate in, whatever the case may be, all right, it cannot be hidden anymore. Stick around for part 2.